Welcome to Snohomish Real Estate Insider, your go-to real estate podcast for agents, buyers, sellers, and investors. We dive into market trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies to help you succeed. Whether you're growing your business or making informed decisions, we've got you covered. Let's get started. Here's your host, Kevin Wick.
All right, welcome, Kyle. How are you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Glad to be here. Excited to get this thing up and going. So, cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, looking forward to a great year this year. I know February is a good month to keep things going. Now we're here today to talk about setting and achieving your goals. So let's kind of just dig right in and just talk about it.
Absolutely, man. Have you set your goals for the year?
I have. You know, working with your dad, I had to put things in motion just because a couple of other things we're working on. So we've got big plans. So, you know, my goal this year is to recruit 48 agents.
Oh, right on.
And so I got a lot of work in front of me. And then also to increase our total production between the two offices by 34%.
Okay.
So
nice.
So a lot of work in front of me,
Yeah.
for sure. So I'll need a lot of help.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm here for, right?
Right.
You know, I'll do my part as much as I can.
That's what this is all about. So let's make this happen. So
Absolutely.
So what about you? Now, have you gotten your goals set?
Well, I haven't got them set for this year. I've been busy with wedding planning and things like that. But
That's right.
I do need to get those locked in. You know, last year I really liked what I did. I'm a very visual person. So I write out all my goals, and then I also like to make a vision board.
Oh, great.
I think it's kind of a fun time to like sit down and like really like kind of manifest what you want to see out of your goals, you know, with vision boards. So like I had some like upgrades to my house. I had my dog on last year's, which is cool because we ended up getting a puppy and that all worked out. But yeah, for this year, I do got to sit down and hammer out some updated goals.
Yeah. Well, getting married is a pretty big goal. That's a big personal goal that
Yes,
you're accomplishing.
True that.
Now, when did you guys get engaged?
So we got engaged last September, and then, or not actually last September, it was just September of
before.
23.
Okay.
Which is crazy. So yeah, wedding planning for the last 6 months or so has been fun. Yeah. And yeah, that'll be a big check mark, you know, once we get that taken care of.
That's exciting. That's exciting.
For sure. Yeah.
Good. What other personal goals do you have? I mean, you know, we usually talk about business, and business is great and everything, but truly what drives us, I know for achieving your goals, the biggest thing that gets you there is what personally you're doing to achieve that, you know, your motivation, what's your why.
True that, yeah.
So.
Yeah, other than business, you know, it's mostly just the house. We bought an older house and, you know, we did a lot of extensive updating on it, but it still needs a lot of work. I need a lot of the not fun things taken care of.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to be a big goal for this summer is to kind of start taking on the siding of the place. The roof needs replacement. Some of those bigger, not fun projects to do, you know, so just funding those and everything. Yeah, we got some acreage too, so starting a little garden and everything like that.
That's exciting.
Kind of getting the whole property dialed in.
Yeah.
And I want to get some chickens, things like that.
So you're going to have a real gentleman's farm.
That's what I'm looking for. You know, I talked with my fiance, and we want to have some chickens, get some fruit trees, you know, kind of self-sustainable.
Cool.
Stuff like that. You know, that's kind of our end vision.
Yeah. Now you have a ADU on the property too, don't you?
There is an ADU on the property. Yeah. Yeah, we got that rented out, and he's all taken care of and all that good stuff.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Now, when did you buy that house? A couple years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, we bought that in 2022.
Right.
So we took about a year to fix the inside, and we've been living there for a couple of years now. And it's great. We're out there in Snohomish, like I said, on some acreage. It's incredible.
Good.
I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So let's go back into the goals. You know, now I know that in the past that you used to have a group that you met with, part of, you know, kind of an accountability group that you met with on a regular basis. Now,
For sure.
Before we got started, we were talking about that a little bit. Let's go and talk about what you guys do with that group and everything like that. I really loved what you had to say, so let's go into that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, goals are only good if you're being held accountable. You know what I mean? So we had a great little group with a couple of brokers here in the office, and we would get together every 2-3 weeks or so, and we would make a bullet point list of, you know, 5 goals, whether it's business, personal, health, like whatever it is, just have 5 things that you want to kind of achieve in those 2 weeks. It can be as simple as, detailing your car or, closing that transaction that you got coming up. But just the fact of meeting with other people, being held accountable really makes you strive for that. So we did this fun little thing too to add like a monetary element to it. So every time we would go to the meeting and have a goal that we didn't achieve, we would have to put $5 into the pot, you know? And then that would accrue pretty quickly because not everyone does all 5 goals every single time. Sure. So before you knew it, we had, $100, $200 in there. But the flip side is for every goal that you do achieve, you get $1 out. Okay. So, sometimes you're only contributing, $1 instead of 5. You do 4 of them, but you don't do 1, and then kind of a fun thing, we would just take all that money and then we would say, okay, the next time we meet, we're going to go to lunch at Ivar's or something and, have it all paid for.
Nice.
But it just kind of keeps you regular, keeps you meeting up with people that share the same drive and, want to start getting stuff done.
Yeah, that's good. And the interesting thing about the group that you have is you guys are in different places in your lives. And so I think the great thing about it is you guys all bring something to the table where you're able to learn from each other, which I thought was kind of a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's actually super observant because like some people, like we're definitely not all super similar. We all have our own like pleasures. Like some people really like to read books in the group, so it's like they would have a goal to like read a book, and then that kind of sparks you. You're like, man, I should listen to a book or something, So it kind of gets you out of your comfort zone and in that way of things.
Yeah. Now for your goals, I know you're working on them right now. What specifically do you do? Do you have categories that you work off of?
Yeah. I mean, we got personal goals, health goals, business goals, and like what you have for the office. I think it's important to make them super specific. I think that's a problem a lot of people have is they make it too broad or not measurable. Like you want to be able to know when you hit your goals, right? Yeah. Like mine is a certain dollar amount. Usually, like in the business setting, is a certain dollar amount that I want to close in escrow. So if it's getting towards the end of the year and we're not there, it's like, you got to start hustling, start going to higher priced homes, try to, get that dollar amount before the end of the year turns over. Do you do categories and stuff as well?
I do, and so since I've been aboard in the leadership role, one of the things that we always track is pending transactions and the new listings that we take on a monthly basis. Yeah. And so gauging it from the year before, and so the value of tracking pending transactions, this is the business that's coming. Listings is the business that's coming in a little bit later. Yeah. And so that's driving what our production is as long as we're hitting our pending transaction, we know our closings are going to come in line. Yep. We have a certain fallout, which is normal. And then with that, I'm not super worried about the price point. I think that comes into play. I look at our business as heavily transactional. I like what you said, you can go for a higher priced homes. That's great and everything like that. But if you just hit enough transactions where you satisfy enough people's needs, you're going to hit your dollar volume goals. Yeah. And I look at it as let's get a couple more if we need to increase it. The cool thing about our 2 offices is we actually have one of the highest dollar per transaction in the county as it is. Oh, wow. And so Mill Creek is about $70,000 higher per transaction than Everett, but they're both in the top probably 5 in the county for dollar per transaction.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's awesome though. So, I'd love to hear it. Yeah. I think the offices too is like it's more important for volume on the office side because you get the market share, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like me personally, like working off of the commissions, the dollar amount's a little bit more important, because it affects me a little bit more directly, right? Yeah.
Right. Well, and I look at it too as from a transactional basis. When we're able to hit the more transactions, I know more transactions are going to other people. And so, just because, my goal is also to take us from 6 transactions per agent up to, I want to double that and take it to 12. Not this year, but in the years to come is my focus. And so, and once again, it's transactional basis. So the more transactions you get, the better off we're going to be. And so, and that's where, doing this goal setting, you do your peer group that you have. I actually sit and coach with agents in the office on a regular basis and help them achieve on a weekly basis. Or one of them's every other week, but a couple of them are weekly.
Yeah.
And the value of that is, once again, it's somebody holding them accountable to be able to hit the numbers that they want to hit.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong.
Yeah.
Is where, you have this big old setting of all your goals and everything. You do it once at the beginning of the year, and then you don't ever look at it again, or you don't ever revisit it.
Yeah.
I think, like I said before, it's incredibly important just to touch back on those, and even better if you can have someone, like yourself, who's actually meeting up with these people and
Right.
keeping you accountable.
Yeah.
Because it's super easy to make a list of goals. It's a lot harder to complete them all.
Well, and the thing is, the reality of goal setting is you have a plan to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. And the thing is, if you just start at the beginning of the year and you never look at it again, you never have a chance to recalibrate and figure out where you need to go. But if you look at it every single week, that means every week you're going to be able to adjust what your activities you're doing to be able to achieve your end goal, which is a certain dollar production amount, certain number of transactions, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It gives you the opportunity. Just like losing weight. I mean, you have a goal if you want to lose weight in the beginning of the year, or exercise, whatever. But if you never look at it again, you never know where you're going to be or where you're at.
For sure.
So,
And going back into updating them too, because I don't believe in unachievable goals, like if it's not realistic to lose 30 pounds in a month, so if that's something like your goal and you're 2 weeks in, you should evaluate what's realistic so that you can actually achieve it. Or you have a certain dollar amount, and if you're halfway through the year and you're nowhere close, you might just give up on the whole goal. It's I would rather adjust it down to keep me working hard, to keep me striving for something,
Right.
So if it's $200 million, it's well, that's crazy. But if we knock it down to something more achievable, I'm going to work a little harder to actually be able to check that box off.
No, that absolutely makes sense. And so, and that brings me to the, one of the things that I always look at, when I'm coaching with somebody, the thing that I focus on the most is not so much that results of that $200 million goal. It's the activities that you're doing to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
Because if I can increase the amount of activities that you're doing on a regular basis, then I know the chance of achieving those goals are a lot higher. Now, don't get me wrong. We're always going to be looking at, what kind of conversion rates you have and stuff like that. So we're going to be modifying what you're saying to people and everything like that. But if we're able to get you on board with contacting 5 people a day, actually making communications with 5 different people every day, I can see you achieving those goals because it's all in the numbers. And those activities are going to be based off of who you're talking to, whether it's your database or whether you're calling expired listings. But once again, it's the amount that you're doing. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
So now, what are some of the major pitfalls that you face when we've set these goals? Now, what kinds of things get in your way?
That's a good question. I think, I kind of touched on that earlier with people just not looking back at them. I think, again, they got to be right in front of your face every single day. Like I said, I would have a vision board kind of in my office that I would just kind of look at, and it would remind me, kind of give me that inspiration, put that fire in my belly to get out there and get it done. So I think that's it. It's just keep them front and center, and put your nose to the grindstone.
Yeah. Cool. The other thing is, real estate's a hard business to be in. It's there's lots of ups and downs.
For sure.
When you hit one of those down times, what do you do to remotivate yourself to get you back on track?
That's a good question. Because especially being so cyclical, the holiday season's a lot slower. A lot of us kind of tend to relax on our marketing and everything like that. I think it's really just getting back into it, getting back into the office. We have the pleasure of working from home so much that can kind of demotivate you. I'm a lot more motivated. I get a lot more stuff done when I come in here to the office. I'm holding open houses on the weekends and things like that. So I think just getting out here, getting in the field, and not camping out at home, trying to text a couple of people or call from home, just getting out here in the environment, seeing other agents, talking to other agents, kind of gets me a little bit more excited and gets me motivated.
No, I get that. You know,
Right.
I'm blown away by the people that are able to work from home. You know,
Yeah,
I
it's
did
not
it,
easy.
I did it for years, and I was not as successful as I wanted to be when I did that. Now that I'm back in the office on a daily basis, it makes a huge difference. And you know, I'm motivated every day. It does make a big difference. So which is a good thing. So
Yeah, you have too many distractions at home, you know. They just came out and saying like the productivity level of all of these, you know, tech workers that are working at home is just crashed.
Yeah.
No wonder they're bringing everyone back to the office. I mean, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I know how frustrating it is. Don't get me wrong. Your commute is 30
Sure,
seconds to
yeah.
go from your
Yeah,
kitchen to your
yeah.
office, and then you get a cup of coffee and you're good to go. But the reality of it is it's just that water cooler talk that you're able to get at the office. It actually is a motivator, and it does make a big difference. Now, there's always a point of diminishing return when you have too much water cooler talk. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But,
I mean, I don't know. I would argue that there's no such thing as too much water cooler
Yeah.
talk. I love my water cooler talk time. It gets me motivated.
you
You know, and just like you hear like stories of what's happening right now too. So if you haven't been in the biz for a month, you know, and you know how quickly real estate changes, like now, you hear people are, you know, putting review dates back, getting multiple offers, and I don't know, just kind of keeps you in the pocket, you know.
Yeah, that's good. No, I definitely understand that. So now let me ask you this: if you were giving advice to agents, what goals should agents be focusing on? Let's just talk real estate. Let's not go personal. Let's just go into real estate.
Yeah. Well, we were talking earlier too, like conversations equal contracts. You know, so I think not even going like to dollar value, but breaking it down even simpler than that. Like, how many conversations are you going to have today? Are you going to text just one person a day? You know, it's got to be something that you will do every single day. Like 5 is great, but not everybody maybe has 50 people in their database, you know? So if you can just do 1 a day, or, you know, 1 open house per weekend type of thing.
Yeah.
It's just, I think the biggest thing is it has to be achievable so that you stay on track.
Absolutely. Yeah. I always love it when people want to achieve big results, but they don't realize it takes those activities to get those big results. And it's just, you got to start someplace. And, you know, if you have a 50-person database, that's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Now you know where you need to go to be able to achieve where you to achieve. You know, because the numbers, you know, the numbers speak for themselves. I know there's different experts out there that talk about the different numbers, and I know if you do 50 conversations, that's supposed to be 1 transaction. And so from that standpoint, if you want to do 10 transactions in the year, that's 500 communications with people. And so from that standpoint, you're looking at about 2 a day, about 2 a day is all you got to do.
Yeah.
And so if you want to do 40 transactions, now you're looking at, what is that, 8 a day. It's just truly
Just
all
breaking it
about the
down.
numbers and just doing it. And so now how you get those communications, it matters. So what kinds of things do you focus on to get your communications? Is it all just about your database, or do you have other things that you do to get communications?
I mean, database, I think, is just going to be the easiest book of business for most people. It's people that know you and trust you already.
Right.
So, I mean, obviously, I think that's just a given that every broker should be doing. Personally, what I really like is open houses, because I get to get out there and meet people. You know, they come into your house. It's super easy. You're not out there kind of fishing for anybody.
Right.
They're coming straight to you. And you have the opportunity to chat with them, see where they're at kind of in their home journey. And, you know, if they're looking for a broker, that's great. And you can make a good first impression with them and try and lock them in, you know? Yeah. I've just always loved open houses. I don't know. It's always been a pretty big piece of my business. And you get people from all over the place too. People from not only this, you know, if you're holding the house in Mill Creek, they'll be coming from Bellevue, Seattle. So I don't know, you get to, you know, sample the public. I just like talking to people too, you know? So you're always got somebody to chat with at an open house.
You know, and the thing is, you've been in the business 8 years now?
8 years.
Yeah,
I
8
think
years.
going on 9. Yeah, it's crazy.
I know 10 years ago, open houses were, nobody did open houses.
Really?
It was, you know, they did them, but not that. It was all new construction. Open houses
Yeah,
were all
sure.
new constructions. But I can tell you, those last 5 years, it's all been open houses.
Oh, yeah.
The big drive has been open houses because I'm sure when you get your listings, I know when I was actively out there,
Oh, yeah.
I'd get agents from all kinds of companies calling me to be able to do open houses up my listings.
Oh
and
yeah,
everything like that.
I was looking this morning for trying to find an open house for this weekend, and they're all booked.
I found one for you. Did you see my email?
I saw it.
Okay,
I got to take a
right.
deeper look at it
All
for
right,
Miss Raji.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that.
So,
But yeah, I mean, I think they've grown in popularity because it's also just like a free thing that you can do. It costs nothing. It's just a couple of hours. I prefer to do like a 2 or a 3 hour. Keep it kind of short. That way, there's kind of always somebody in the house that you're talking to. You're not sitting there for 4 hours with a 30-minute gap of
Right.
just doing nothing. So yeah, I love open houses.
no, that's a good way to get business. I know some of the other things that I recommend for people is, besides calling their database, open houses is a primary one, but I also recommend people calling expireds and for sale by owners.
For sure.
And realistically, all it's about is just getting in conversation with them, because you're not going to get every one of them, and don't stress about it. Just have that conversation. And there's also, just being out there, being social on social media.
Yeah.
That's another way to connect with people, market different properties. There's other ways to connect with people. So there's lots of different ways to be able to achieve the goals that you want to achieve. Now it's just a matter of figuring out what you do. I'm glad to hear that you know what you want to do, which is a good thing. And so now it's just time to let's get those goals on paper.
True that.
But,
Yeah. Social media is going to be a bigger one for me this year too, because I've kind of lacked in the past, but I really want to hammer that this year. So I'll kind of do some line items on that and make sure we check those off.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what's one piece of advice you want to give to people?
Set your goals, man.
All right.
Just set them.
Easy enough.
Write them down. Look at them every day.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, good deal. So let's go ahead and wrap things up for today. But now, how can people get in touch with you to maybe find out more about your open houses that you do, or your vision board that you do, or different things like that? What would be a way to get in touch with you?
Well, I'm always here at the Mill Creek office, most days. Other than that, you can give me a call, 425-512-7552. I'm happy to walk anybody through kind of my process, and maybe we can even do a little vision board deal with the office. That'd be kind of fun. We can all sit down and bring some magazines and kind of shape out what we want our lives to look like in the next year.
Right. Very good. So very good. Kyle, it's great. So Kyle Maple, Kevin Wick, glad to have you guys join us for this week. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thanks for tuning into the Snohomish Real Estate Insider podcast. Tune in next week for more market trends, expert insights, and actionable strategies. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode.